I'm Jeannie Cunningham.
I'm Jimmy Yamagishi.
And we play Sunlight Guitars. We're here today to answer perhaps any questions that you might have about guitars, such as what kind of guitar should I buy, or
what kind of guitar works best for me,
or what kind of tone. And so we thought, okay, we'll figure out what kind of guitar you might be interested in buying. First thing that comes to my mind is, how old are you? If you have tiny little hands like I did when I first started, maybe the first guitar for you shouldn't necessarily be a guitar. Maybe it should be something as cool as this, a ukulele. Unlike guitars, most ukuleles only have 4 strings, whereas most guitars have 6. The beauty of a ukulele is for somebody with fingers that are about 8 years to 11 years old, these frets are smaller, the neck is smaller as well, so it makes it very, very easy to develop the motor skills. Not to mention that you'll be the life of any party you go to, especially the beach parties. The great thing about a ukulele is once you've learned how to play a ukulele, you'll always know how to play a ukulele. And you'll also be able to transfer very easily into guitar. It's not a difficult transition. Once your fingers start to grow a little bit, you'll be able to fit across those frets and do bar chords with ease. But to start with, if you're young and if you have small fingers, I highly recommend ukulele. That's what I started with. The second thing that you want to take into consideration is whether you want nylon strings or steel strings. Jimmy, let's go over that. What do you think are the advantages of nylon strings and what are the advantages of steel strings?
Well, steel strings are generally a lot stiffer. One of the reasons why, of course, is they're made of steel. But one of the good things about it is that because they are steel, they don't stretch as much. So the tuning is a lot more stable. They're also much smaller in diameter. So if the action on the guitar is very good, it's actually easier to play for some people. It's louder, generally speaking. And you can do a lot more things with it because since the tension is more stable and the tension is a little bit more distributed, then you're able to do things like this. And still keep it in tune. You see, this is called a drop D tuning. Something you can't do with a classical guitar because nylon strings have to be at concert pitch in order to stay in tune and play in tune. Nylon strings are also very good for the very beginner because, again, it is a softer material. Pushing down a little piece of plastic is a lot easier for some people, and it's also a little bit easier. And the other thing too is that it's a mellower sound. So when you have a nylon string instrument, a nylon string instrument can be very good for softer types of music. Say, for example, for jazz. Or, of course, classical.
Things that you'll also know about playing acoustic guitar is once you started playing acoustic guitar and you decide at some point in life that you want to go to an electric guitar, you're going to have some rethinking to do because you can overplay the electric guitar. If you learn on an electric guitar, you won't learn the strength that you'll need to play on an acoustic steel string. But if you learn on an acoustic steel string guitar and then switch over to an electric guitar, you'll have the strength in your hands, and if anything, you just have to learn to play a little less hard or a little more lightly on the strings, because otherwise they'll go a little kind of caterwilly on the tuning for you. But if you start out on an acoustic guitar, you will have developed all the skills necessary to graduate or, no, transition, I wouldn't say graduate, to transition to electric guitar, which is a lot easier on the hands.
Many acoustic guitars, such as this particular Sonnet that I'm holding, have something called a built-in active pickup. This one in particular is very cool because it has a tuner on there. We'll talk about the tuner in a second as well. But having a pickup in the guitar adds versatility because then you can use it in a PA system or amplifier or any other place where you need just a little more kick in order to make things happen. In the studio, of course, it also helps because then you can adjust your sound according to the way that things sound in the big picture in your studio recording.
Then you also have the advantage with these acoustic electrics that if you don't happen to have an amplifier around, people can hear you. Whereas with an electric guitar and a solid body, all you're going to hear is, but when you have a box to back up the sound, you'll be like, yeehaw!
Sorry.